Los Angeles. You know, it's one of those places that feels familiar, right? Even if you've never actually set foot there. We've all seen it in the movies, heard it in songs. But the LA that we all have in our heads, how much of that is the real LA? And how much is just, well, a myth? Okay, let's dive in and start peeling back the layers of a city we only think we know.
Okay, so let's start with its most angelic nickname, the City of Angels. It sounds so peaceful, so serene, doesn't it? But is that really the whole picture?
Or, hey, maybe this is what you think of first. Tinseltown, the absolute capital of celebrity, of glamour, the movie-making machine that has shaped culture all over the world.
Or even La La Land, a place for dreamers, where it feels like the line between fantasy and reality is kind of blurry. So today, we're gonna cut through the noise. We're gonna separate the facts from the fantasy, using real data to uncover the true Los Angeles.
All right, so the biggest myth we gotta tackle right away is this idea that LA is some brand new city. You know, that its story basically started when the first movie cameras showed up. But the truth? Hollywood is just a tiny, flashy chapter in a book that is way, way older. I mean, just look at this timeline. It really puts everything into perspective. Hollywood showing up in the early 1900s feels like just yesterday when you see the full story. We're talking about land that was home to the Tongva people for thousands of years. It was a Spanish town, then it was part of Mexico, all before it ever became American. And you want to know the real kicker for that whole Hollywood-created LA myth? The city's first massive growth spurt had nothing to do with movies. It was oil, discovered way back in 1892. Hollywood didn't build LA, it just moved into a city that was already booming.
And this is where the story gets really interesting. So get that image of Spanish conquistadors out of your head. The city was actually founded by a group called Los Pobladores, just 44 people. And the data here is just incredible. 2/3 of them were of mixed African, indigenous, and European heritage. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. From day one, from its very beginning, Los Angeles was a multiracial, multicultural place. That's been part of its DNA from the very start.
Now let's talk money. Because let's be honest, the entertainment industry has such a huge cultural footprint, it's easy to think it's the only game in town. You know, you see the Hollywood sign, you hear about the big studios, and it's just easy to assume that's what keeps this whole massive city running. But is it the real engine?
And look, this nickname isn't wrong, right? The industry is a giant. It's hugely influential. But saying it's the only thing driving the economy, that's kind of like saying the star quarterback is the whole football team. Super important, for sure, but they're not the only player on the field.
All right, enough talk. Let's just look at the members, because they tell the real story. This chart is a real eye-opener. Yeah, entertainment is on there, it's vital, but look at the two giants towering over it. First, international trade. The ports of LA and Long Beach combined make up the 5th busiest port complex in the entire world. It's a colossal gateway for goods. And then, and this one might actually surprise you, manufacturing. LA County has more manufacturing jobs than any other county in the United States. So the big takeaway, Hollywood brings the sparkle, but shipping containers and factory floors are the real foundation of this economy.
And the grand total, the value of this whole economic machine, almost $1.3 trillion a year. I mean, to give you some perspective on just how massive that is, that makes the Los Angeles metro economy the 3rd largest of any city in the world. Only New York and Tokyo are bigger. That's just a staggering number, and it's built on a whole lot more than movie tickets.
All right, next up, let's talk about the city's identity. From the outside, you might get this idea of a giant, sprawling monoculture of freeways and palm trees. But when you really zoom in, you see it's not one city at all. It's more like a collection of dozens of totally different worlds, all packed together.
Wow. Okay, this chart right here tells such a powerful story. Just look at these numbers. There is no single ethnic majority in Los Angeles. It's what's known as a majority-minority city, a place where diversity isn't just a talking point, it's the actual statistical reality. This makes LA one of the most culturally rich and, complex cities on the entire planet.
And this isn't just numbers on a spreadsheet, right? This diversity is something you can literally see and feel. It's written all over the city map. LA is a city of enclaves, vibrant neighborhoods where you can feel like you've hopped on a plane and landed in another country just by walking a few blocks. From the food in Thai Town to the signs in Koreatown to the culture of Tehran Galez, LA's identity isn't a single image. It's a beautiful, complicated mosaic.
Okay, so we all know the postcard image of LA, right? Perfect palm trees, sun-drenched beaches, endless good weather. But that picture-perfect fantasy, it hides a much more dramatic truth, a constant high-stakes fight with Mother Nature.
So here you have it, side by side, the California dream versus the California reality.
On one side, you have this idea of a perfect paradise, but on the other, you have the truth of living in a place that's fundamentally, well, a little unstable. For Angelenos, life is a constant negotiation with the environment. The ground can shake, the hills can burn, and finding enough water is always a challenge.
So, let's break these challenges down a bit. Geologically, LA is smack dab on the Pacific Ring of Fire. It gets something like 10,000 earthquakes a year. Now, most are tiny, you'd never feel them, but still. When it comes to water, the city is basically in a desert. It only survives because of this enormous aqueduct system built over 100 years ago to pipe in water from hundreds of miles away. And then there's the air. The same beautiful mountains that frame the city also act as a perfect bowl to trap emissions, creating that infamous smog. So the big takeaway here is that LA isn't some natural paradise. It's an absolute miracle of engineering and human resilience.
So, after all that, what does it all mean? We've busted the myths that LA is new, that it's just Hollywood, that it's a monoculture, and that it's an easy paradise. So, what's the real LA? It's not one thing. Its true identity is its ability to constantly, and I mean constantly, reinvent itself.
And you know what? There's probably no better symbol of that forward-thinking spirit than the Olympics. In 2028, Los Angeles will host the Summer Games for a third time. Think about it. You don't get to do that if you're a city that's stuck in the past. It's proof of a place that's always adapting, always rebuilding, and always looking toward the future.
Which leaves us with one big final question. As our world gets more diverse, more connected, and faces bigger environmental hurdles, is Los Angeles a preview of what's to come? Is it the city of the future, a model for the rest of us? Or is it maybe a warning? The answer, just like the city itself, is probably a little bit of both.